Well, hello and welcome to this very special episode of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. And our last regular show of 2023. Where did the year go? I'm your host, Chris Green, Director of Network Expansion for Avoya Travel. What an amazing year it's been for all of us here at Avoya Travel, certainly here at our program On Deck with Avoya. And we just couldn't have so many amazing highlights without your continued support. So thank you so much. On behalf of us all, thank you. We had an amazing interview with Phil Capelli, the new Chief Sales Officer for Avoya Travel, a few weeks ago as we celebrated our third anniversary for On Deck with Avoya. We welcomed industry heavyweights to the show this year, like John Chernesky, Senior Vice President of Sales for North America for Norwegian Cruise Line. We watched in awe and helped champion the success of the new travel agent education powered by Avoya platform. Along the way, we won the prestigious Gold Magellan Award from Travel Weekly. We also hit our 100th episode of On Deck with Avoya in the spring. And to celebrate that milestone, we welcomed in our co-CEO, Jeff Anderson, for an exclusive Q&A. Like I said, it's been a big year for us here at On Deck with Avoya. So a year this special requires a proper send-off, and we feel extra excited to welcome in our featured Meet the Team guest today, co-CEO of Avoya Travel, Michael Anderson. Mike, it's so great to have you on this week as our special guest for On Deck with Avoya.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. We're thrilled as well. Mike, first off, as we get into our interview, as the co-CEO of Avoya Travel, kind of walk me through some of your responsibilities as you run and grow Avoya Travel alongside with your brother, co-CEO Jeff Anderson.
Well, that's a great question. My background is more on the technology side of things. So we like to think that we kind of overlap with each other. So each of us has our own areas of expertise, and then areas in which we overlap. Generally, mine ends up being more on the technology side of things. Although, if anybody's seen Jeff talk in the past, he likes to consider himself a nerd as well. So it's not exclusively me. He does like to get it in the technology side of things too. But really, it's growing all the various pillars of our business and making sure that each section is getting all of the energy and time that it deserves. So there's it depends on the day as to where that focus is going. But we've got a lot of exciting things going on.
Always looking forward. I think that's the one thing that people have come to expect from Avoya Travel. We don't sit on our laurels for very long. There's always something new and adventurous that we're ready to tackle and bring to the industry and kind of set ourselves apart.
Yeah, there's no shortage of ideas of exciting things to do, and with technology, the rate and pace of innovation just continues to accelerate. So there's always more that can be done.
Like with the holidays, around us, it's kind of a nice time to be nostalgic a little bit. So when you look back personally, when did it start to click with you that my family's in the travel business? And kind of as a follow-up, what was the first job you ever had in the industry, and at what age was that?
Ooh, that's a great question. We were always in it, so I don't know at what point it clicked for me that we were in it. Always having been in the travel industry, I think we realized at a pretty early age that we were spoiled with the different trips that we got to go on, compared to friends and others that we had as a reference point. Trying not to take that for granted, and realizing that it was a special opportunity was something that my parents always instilled in us. So being aware that you're getting to do things that are special and different, and not just taking it for granted, I think is an important thing. As far as what my first job was, we had brick and mortar agencies around San Diego County growing up, and we would go to the office, and probably the most familiar one is either stamping, or later when the technology evolved, stickering brochures in the back of the office so that they could be added to the brochure rack up at the front. But really, all the siblings have done just about anything and everything that could be done, no matter how high or how low the task was. My dad threw us in that.
Nice. Speaking of your dad, Brad Anderson, and your uncle Van Anderson, co-founders of Avoya Travel, I was lucky enough to be there. I know you were there as well when they went into the Travel Hall of Fame. What an amazing night, but I can only imagine how special a night that was for you and for your family, for them to be honored in that way.
Yeah. It's interesting. Internally within the family, you look up to your parents and everything. Seeing a room full, a ballroom full of people in an industry, recognize them in the same way is extra special. So being able to be there for that was pretty extraordinary. And I'm just glad that so many people know how awesome my dad is outside of just our little bubble.
Yeah, absolutely. And he made a fantastic speech too, right? I mean, you had to be sitting there pretty proud that in that moment and the pressure's on, that he came through, really hit the home run.
Yep. It was awesome. Great night.
Absolutely. Mike, you already kind of let the cat out of the bag on this one, but I guess it's fair to say that the technology side of the business is, as you said, the side that you're the most comfortable with, right?
Yep, for sure.
So as a follow-up, when Avoya Travel takes home awards like Best Host Agency Technology, that must kind of hit you not only, as the co-CEO at a certain level, but internally with just a sense of personal pride, seeing how hands-on you are with that elite resource.
For sure. I think balancing the success of what we have with the aspirations for where we want to go is always a tricky thing for me, because I see the potential that's out there, and we're very hungry to pursue all those opportunities. So I think, it's not a one-man show by any means on the technology side of things. So as a reflection of all the hard work and effort that all the various team members that are involved in it, I think that's probably my when I see those awards, it makes me happiest to frame it in what that whole team and group of people has been able to do, as opposed to anything personal, if that makes
I think you
sense.
absolutely 100%. And I think you really hit on a key point, Mike, and it's a key differentiator that I know my team talks about with Avoya Travel. You use the word team because at Avoya Travel, our talent pool is pretty deep. And there are teams of people that are involved in the technology, just like there are teams of people involved in strategic partnerships and the marketing and all the efforts that drive the other main resources at Avoya Travel. And when you compare that head to head with our competitors, there is no doubt that yes, there's a team, and it's the reason we win those awards. So I think it really highlights exactly what you said.
Yep, 100%.
We're speaking with Michael Anderson, co-CEO of Avoya Travel. He's our featured Meet the Team guest today. Mike, in the 10 plus years I've been fortunate enough to know you, I feel comfortable in saying that you're a man that has a very deep love and appreciation for his family, and a deep appreciation and love of your faith. And seeing how Christmas is coming up, that must again have a special meaning for you and for your family.
Yeah, for sure. One of the two best days of the year, if you had to pick 2 days to be excited about. I think, everybody this time of year, it just becomes family centric and family oriented, and getting people together that might not have been together for a while. For on the family side, on the business side, we're all gearing up for wave season, and hoping that we can make it everything that it can be. So yeah, it's an exciting time of year for sure.
When you get together and you celebrate and you're with other members of your family, because you're in the travel business, is it hard to kind of like, okay, this is a Christmas or birthday celebration, whatever the gathering point reason is, versus another opportunity to talk shop?
So, great question. Uh, we've got a history of, there are certain events like that where we've got all the opportunities in the world to talk shop in other contexts, but there are some that are excluded from that. So sometimes we get in trouble for crossing the line, but most of the time we're well behaved and we're able to keep that outside of the scope of things.
Very good. One of the things that I know that brings me great personal pride as an employee of Avoya Travel, and again, just celebrating my 10-year anniversary with the company, is Avoya Travel's commitment to giving back to others. Mike, where does that kind of philanthropy philosophy come from? And what does it mean to you and mean to your family? Why is that so important?
Great question. Going back to the beginning of the interview where you were talking about growing up in the travel industry, and me admitting to the fact that we were spoiled growing up. When you have opportunities that other people don't, I think trying to find your way of contributing back and helping those that are either less fortunate or don't have the same resources that you have it's just an amazing thing to be able to do. And so that's always just kind of been ingrained in us from an early age. And for those who have either been on the giving end or the receiving end of that, it's a very special thing. So I can't remember the rest of the question that you had, Chris.
Just about why it's always been something that's important to your family to have that philosophy, and I think you answered it really well. I know for me, the first national conference that I attended under the Avoya Travel banner, here we were just humming along, and it was an amazing conference, and then a hard stop so that we could all go and participate in this amazing exercise together of packaging the rice. And I still have a picture that I treasure with me and you and your dad, and we're all hot as can be, and we've got our hairnets on. And I remember at first thinking most companies wouldn't dare stop their conference when it was humming along to do that. And I always thought it's just part of the special sauce that really makes Avoya Travel so amazing and a great place that I love calling home. And I know that's reflective on so many of our members of the Avoya network too. So I hope as a family, you guys are proud of that, and you see what a difference that you are making in the lives of others, but in the lives of us internally too.
Yeah, you make a great point, and the food packaging thing, and personally having been on the other end of distributing those foods over in Africa, that's actually where I met my wife, was on a trip where we were giving out that food. So yeah, I guess now that I'm reflecting on it more, the impact that has made, it's been life-changing for me in resulting in the amazing family that I have now. So I guess I couldn't overstate the impact that that's personally had on me.
Wonderful. I guess being in the travel business your whole life, it's got to have a pretty amazing list, Mike, of places that you've had the chance to visit. What are some of the personal travel highlights that you've had so far on this great planet?
Ooh. Well, the easy answer anytime someone asks me for my favorite destination, I just default to Hawaii. We've got the family has the Hawaiian roots from way back when with my grandparents. For travel experiences, again, being blessed with the opportunities that we were growing up. My dad had a knack for these European summer vacations where he was really into Rick Steves books. back in the day, and we would fly out there with no firm plan. He had ideas as to what we were going to do, but there were some summers where our whole itinerary was dependent on what happened with the weather when we were actually there, because if it got too hot, then we fled north. If it was too cold, then we would head south. And just the opportunity to somewhat at a whim go and explore all of these places was just incredible.
Yeah, sounds like it. Mike, when you look at all the factors that are going on, I'm going to kind of take you out of your comfort zone for just a second and kind of put you on the other side of the coin. But when you look at everything that's going on in the travel industry right now, if you were a potential travel advisor, would you think now is just a good time to get involved in the travel industry and maybe become a part of the Avoya network?
Great question. I think one of the amazing positives that came out of COVID and all the lockdowns and everything is just people's appreciation for time and togetherness, and not putting on the back burner these bucket list type items. So I know, at least for me, the ability to go spend vacation time with family, it was already priceless, but it feels like tenfold more. And I think that's the feeling that so many people around the world feel. So the other kind of thing that came out of COVID was needing to be able to talk to an expert about what's going on, and making sure that all of the regulations and health type stuff was well understood. And that's just translated as we've exited the era in the COVID space that we were in, and are now in the new normal. The consumer need for personal relationship and expertise, so that they know that their hard-earned week or two of vacation with their family that they're going to carve out that year is going to be everything that it can be. So it's a long-winded way of saying, I think that the opportunity and the potential for travel experts to find their niche in this space, and it's a very, very vast space. We're in the fun leisure side of the business. There's a whole nother corporate side, but we get to do all the fun stuff, all the vacations that are people making memories of a lifetime together. And I think the opportunities there are just the sky's the limit.
Trust me, as a former corporate travel agent, I would rather help people go to the Galapagos than some guy get seat like 11B so he can have an easier skip through O'Hare. Trust me, no doubt
Absolutely.
about it. Mike,
Yep.
we made it to the end. It's my final question. It's the same question that we ask all of our guests that we have now for 3+ years of On Deck with Avoya. It's a really simple concept, but at the end of the day, are you excited, and why, about the future of leisure travel?
I touched on it a little bit in that last questions. The answer is 100%. It means more now than it ever has in the past. It's always been meaningful. It's even more so now. I think that the impact of leisure travel, it impacts the travelers and the relationships that they're able to create together, the memories that they're able to create together. It impacts the destinations and all of the people that are in those destinations. Lots of areas around the world, tourism is the source of economic growth. And especially over the last couple of years where that didn't exist, us being back and intentional about helping those areas is huge. And yeah, I think that the demand is amazing. And all of the suppliers that are involved in the equation are continuing to innovate and do new things and keep things fresh and exciting. So you would be hard pressed to not take a little peek at what's going on here and not get excited about the future.
That is the absolute perfect exclamation point of which to wrap up our 2023 and On Deck with Avoya. Mike Anderson, everybody, co-CEO of Avoya Travel. Mike, I can't express my gratitude enough that you come on our program. We value your time, and we just think it was a great way to wrap up our year. So thanks again for being our special guest today on Deck with Avoya.
Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Next week, no regular show, but we're going to be back with our 2023 On Deck with Avoya year in review specials. We count down some of the top highlights from a year that was absolutely filled with them, and we certainly can't wait for that 2023, a year in review next week right here at our normal time for On Deck with Avoya. As we head into 2024, we do so continuing with our military discount for those that serve and their spouses have served, do serve, veterans, active duty, taking $100 off any of the curriculum packages in the travel agent education powered by Avoya platform, or $100 off the affiliation with Avoya Travel. Speaking of the travel agent education powered by Avoya platform, cha-ching, they've got that sale going on all the way through the end of the year. I think it's like 50% discount. AvoyaNetwork.com is where you're going to get all of the information. So reach out and get that process started. Education is the foundation that you need in order to build a successful business. So that once you become a member of the Avoya Network, you can access the top resources. Really, when we say best-in-class resources, we mean it. The technology, as we've talked about today with Michael Anderson, no doubt an Avoya differentiator, but so is our live leads and our marketing and our agency support, the talent level at Avoya Travel, the employees side, the network side. It's amazing, and together we do amazing things. I know you'd love to be a part of that. And again, you can get that information at avoyanetwork.com. As we head into 2024, remember to give us a follow on social media so you don't miss a beat. Now on Instagram, and we certainly appreciate everybody giving us the like and the follow and ringing the bell and the subscription, all of that cool things you can do on social media at Avoya Travel Network. Or you can just pick up the phone and give me a call or send me an email, chris.green@avoyatravel.com. And again, avoyanetwork.com is where you start the process. And we certainly hope to hear from you so that you can be part of what's going to be an amazing 2024 in the travel business. Again, thank you to my very special guest today, Michael Anderson, co-CEO of Avoya Travel. Thanks to Annabella for doing a great job producing our shows. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a great holiday season, a great New Year's. We'll be back to kick off 2024 that first week with a live show. Until then, take care, everybody.